One daring raid and the swift capture of a dictator later. Strongmen leaders across the world from Latin America to the Middle East are now nervously looking over their shoulders, wondering who might be the next target of America's resurgent interventionist doctrine under President Trump. After Trump's lightning-fast special operations snatch mission successfully extracted Nicolas Maduro straight out of his Caracas stronghold in a meticulously planned nighttime assault, outright panic and uncertainty are rapidly spreading across the global authoritarian landscape. Explosive intelligence leaks circulating among Western agencies chillingly reveal credible possibilities that Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei may already be secretly preparing elaborate contingency plans to flee the country amid mounting regime threats. An exclusive intelligence report shared directly with the Times urgently warned about the very real chances of Tehran's security apparatus ultimately failing to suppress the escalating nationwide protests threatening the Islamic Republic's survival. The 86-year-old supreme leader reportedly plans to execute a rapid escape alongside a tight close circle consisting of up to 20 trusted aides, family members, and key loyalists to ensure regime continuity from exile. This dire contingency plan draws direct inspiration from the recent escape of his longtime ally Bashar al-Assad, who dramatically fled Damascus aboard a Russian transport plane bound for sanctuary in Moscow after his own regime collapsed. An anonymous source said, and I quote, "They have plotted an exit route out of Tehran should they feel the need to escape. This includes gathering assets, properties abroad and cash to facilitate their safe passage." Unquote. Khamenei is widely known to personally control and oversee a sprawling major network of secret commercial assets strategically hidden mostly under Iran-based Seted economic organization that manages regime wealth with iron control. Seted operates as part of a shadowy system of state-controlled charitable foundations notorious worldwide for their deliberate financial obfuscation tactics, money laundering operations, and evasion of international sanctions through complex corporate structures. Reliable estimates from a comprehensive Reuters investigation conservatively put Khamenei's total personal holdings and controlled wealth at a staggering $95 billion amassed through oil revenues, real estate empires, and front companies worldwide. Many of his closest personal aides and inner circle operatives already have immediate family members strategically positioned living abroad in safe havens like the United States, Canada, and the glittering skyscrapers of Dubai to facilitate rapid extraction. Over the last tumultuous week alone, nationwide protests initially triggered by crippling economic hardships including hyperinflation have completely gripped major cities across Iran, paralyzing daily life and challenging regime authority. Outraged protesters have directly accused Khamenei's elite anti-riot forces of employing brutally violent means including live ammunition to ruthlessly suppress the growing demonstrations demanding fundamental political and economic reforms. These heavily armed security forces operate under the absolute and total command authority of Khamenei himself, who remains the unchallenged supreme source of power throughout the entire Islamic Republic's military and governmental apparatus. Khamenei's personal escape plan will reportedly be immediately activated should he conclude that even his most loyal security forces begin wavering or outright refusing to follow his increasingly desperate orders to crush the uprising. In rigidly controlled Iran, where high-level defections prove extremely rare and risky, Khamenei personally oversees and tightly controls all major military appointments, intelligence postings, and security command structures to prevent betrayal. However, the Times exclusively reported that Khamenei has grown dramatically weaker both physically and politically since last year's devastating war against Israel that exposed regime vulnerabilities on multiple fronts. The classified assessment unflinchingly described him as a deeply paranoid leader whose growing isolation and fear of betrayal have fundamentally shaped this elaborate personal escape plan activation should forces desert him en masse. Khamenei's vast investments funding the so-called axis of resistance proxy networks stretching from Yemen to Syria are now paradoxically facing their fiercest major resistance from his own Iranian citizens rejecting external adventurism. The decapitation strikes that dismantled key leadership fronts during the recent war with Israel have led ordinary Iranians to openly question pouring national blood and treasure into distant proxy conflicts abroad. One particularly powerful chant echoing repeatedly on the streets powerfully sounded out this shift: "No to Gaza, no to Lebanon. I'd sacrifice my life for Iran only," capturing the protesters' fierce inward national focus. On January 3rd, the United States launched devastating airstrikes deep into Venezuela before abducting longtime President Nicolas Maduro in a humiliating extraction raid that shocked the international community. After months of meticulous intelligence preparation and rehearsal, elite U.S. Special Operations Forces supported by 150 combat jets taking off simultaneously from 20 regional air bases executed the flawless abduction of Maduro from his capital defenses. Russia now finds itself treading extraordinarily carefully through highly measured public statements when addressing the stunning ousting of its longtime client Venezuelan president over this explosive weekend development. Maduro had served as a key ideological ally to President Vladimir Putin throughout the years, while Venezuela maintained deep long-standing military, economic, and diplomatic ties with Moscow dating back to the early 2000s oil forearms era. The Russian-made multi-layered air shields that Venezuela spent billions of precious dollars acquiring specifically to deter U.S. intervention completely failed to protect Maduro from America's precision special operations capabilities. This catastrophic attack utterly destroyed a critical Russian-supplied Buk M2E advanced surface-to-air missile system that had been strategically stationed to defend the vital La Carlota airbase right outside Caracas. Russia had previously delivered multiple S-300VM anti-aircraft battalions designed explicitly to help Venezuela construct a comprehensive anti-access area denial shield protecting key regime leadership and infrastructure from aerial attack. Despite repeated previous reports touting extensive Russian technical backing, training support, and system upgrades, these expensive imported defenses proved either completely ineffective against stealth threats or were surgically neutralized pre-strike. Venezuela's entire air force continues to rely heavily on its fleet of 21 battle-hardened Su-30 MKV multi-role fighters, representing a ruggedized local variant specifically adapted from the proven Russian Su-30 Mk2 design baseline.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.